Good morning, mathematicians. We are looking at lesson 17, fractions as partial quotients, and this cool down is titled Choose One Expression. We are to choose one expression and use it to find the value of 154 divided by 14, and then we will explain or show our thinking. Now, there are two of these that jump out at me, and one of those is right here, this very first one. If I have 140 fourteenths plus 14 fourteenths, notice between my numerators, 140 plus 14, I have 154, right? Which is the dividend that I'm starting with. And my denominator is the bottom, right? The bottom denominator is that divisor of 14. So I know that 140 fourteenths is equal to 10. And I know that 14 fourteenths is equal to 1. And I know that that is equal to 11. So I have found the answer to this question because I started at this first step. I started at this first step by simply rewriting the question. Then I found 140 over 14 to be 10, and I found 14 over 14 to be 1. That was my second step. And lastly, I wrote my final answer of 11. So that one really jumps out at me. The second one that does jump out at me is the bottom one. I know that 70 fourteenths plus 70 fourteenths plus 14 fourteenths is another great way that we can show in the numerators 70 plus 70 plus 54 does equal 154. And then my divisor 14 is my denominator for all of those. The reason this one jumps out at me is because I know that 14 times 5 is going to be 70. So I know that 14 goes into 70 5 times exactly. So I'm going to have a 5 that I'm going to exchange for the 70 fourteenths, and another 5 that I'm going to exchange for those 70 fourteenths, and then, just like in my blue question, 14 over 14 is equal to 1, and I know that 10 plus 1 does equal 11. So once again, this was my first step, just rewriting. This was my second step, looking and seeing what each of those fractions equals as a whole number, and this is my answer, 11. Now, the reason that those jump out at me is because those lend themselves really quickly to whole numbers. I'm not going to explain in depth this one because it doesn't lend itself to whole numbers, right? 150 divided by 14 is going to be 10 with a remainder, right? Then I have 4 over 14, which is going to equal 2 sevenths, which again doesn't lend itself to a whole number. So that one is not one that jumps out to me as an easy one for us to solve and show our thinking with, as much as the blue one that we've solved together and the red one that we have solved together. This is our cool down for lesson 17.